Hey guys, welcome and welcome back. Today I want to talk about something I never expected to experience: reverse culture shock. When people hear the words culture shock, they usually imagine the obvious things: trying unfamiliar food, being amazed that convenience stores are open 24 hours, getting used to a different way of doing everyday life. Those things exist, but honestly, I don't think that's the hardest part. The real challenge comes later. It's when you've learned the language, you know how to navigate daily life, you can have conversations, pay your bills, and get through your day without thinking too much about it. And then you realize understanding a language isn't the same as understanding a culture. Culture isn't just words, it's context. It's shared assumptions. It's the things that everyone around you seem to understand without anyone ever explaining them. For those of you who are new here, I'm a stage costume designer and costume maker. I spent years working professionally in theater in the United States before moving back to Japan last year. I thought coming home would be the easy part. Japan wasn't unfamiliar to me. It's where I grew up. Japanese is my first language. I assumed I would simply fit back in. Instead, I found myself feeling unexpectedly out of place. Not because I couldn't communicate, but because there were moments when I understood every word that was being said, yet still felt like I was missing part of the conversation. It wasn't the language I was struggling with, it was the context, the expectations, the things that everyone else seemed to know instinctively. When I first moved to the United States, I expected to be confused. Everything was new, every mistake made sense because I was learning a new country. Coming back home to Japan was different. I didn't expect to feel like I was learning my own country all over again. One idea that has helped me make sense of my experience is this. Sometimes I think the biggest divide isn't necessarily being locals and others. Sometimes it's between people who already understand their unwritten rules and people who are still learning them. That isn't quite unique to Japan. Every workplace, every community, and every country has its own unwritten rules. The difference is that when you grow up somewhere, you often don't notice them. When you have been away for a long time, or when you're entering a completely new environment, you suddenly become aware of just how much is communicated without words. One of the most difficult parts for me was feeling like I had to rebuild my professional identity. I was hired because of my experience in theater. Those years mattered enough to help me get the job. But once I started working, I also needed to learn an entirely different way of doing things. There were times when people reminded me that I was new. And they were right. I was, and I still am, new to this industry in Japan. I was new to those workflows. I was new to those expectations. At the same time, I was also carrying years of experience from somewhere else. For a while, I struggled to hold those two truths at once. How could I be both experienced and new? Eventually, I realized that those things aren't opposites. You can be highly experienced in your profession while still being a beginner in a particular system. That doesn't erase that you've already learned. It just means you're learning how to apply it in a new context. Another adjustment was finding my voice. As someone new to the system, I often felt more comfortable listening than speaking. Partly because I genuinely wanted to learn, partly because I didn't know what was expected of me. Over time, I noticed that I became much quieter than I had been before. Not because I had stopped having ideas, but because I was still trying to understand when and how to contribute. Looking back, I think that was one of the lonelier parts of returning home. feeling capable but not yet feeling confident that I understood the environment well enough to fully be myself. Over time, I realized something that surprised me. I sometimes go to a local craft meetup where many of the participants are women who immigrated to Japan from different countries. Our lives are very different. Their experiences are not the same as mine. But listening to their stories, I occasionally recognized feeling that sounded familiar. The challenge of starting over, the feeling that people couldn't immediately see the experience you had built before arriving, the slow process of finding your place in a new community. Those conversations reminded me that starting over is a surprisingly universal experience. Whether you moved across the world, changed careers, or returned to a place you once called home, there can be moments where you wonder where you fit. Maybe that's why reverse culture shock caught me off guard. I expected to miss the States. I didn't expect to feel unfamiliar with parts of the country where I grew up. But perhaps that's inevitable. Living abroad changed me. And while I was changing, Japan continued changing too. So when I came back, neither of us was exactly the same. These days, I don't think about choosing between two cultures anymore. Instead, I'm trying to ask a different question. How can I keep learning without forgetting everything I've already learned? How can I stay open to a new way of working while still valuing the experience that shaped me? I don't have the answer yet. Maybe I never will. But I have stopped seeing this experience as a failure to fit in. Instead, I see it as part of learning who I am after living in two different worlds. Oh, and speaking of living between two cultures, this episode reminded me of a song I used to listen to all the time during my first and second year of college with my theater girlies in our tiny dorm room. It's called My Heart Is Split by Kerrigan and Laudermilk. Back then, I connected with it because I was living abroad and trying to figure out where I belonged, away from my family for the first time in my entire life. I haven't listened to it in years, but while I was planning this episode, it suddenly came back to me. Listening to it now after moving back to Japan, the lyrics hit me in a completely different way. It's funny how the same song can mean something completely different depending on where you are in life. If today's episode resonated with you, I definitely recommend giving it a listen. And if you do, let me know what you think. Thanks so much for listening. If you have experienced reverse culture shock, moved to a new country, changed careers, or simply found yourself starting over somewhere new, I would love to hear your story. What helped you find your place again? Until next time, take care, keep making beautiful things, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.